dressing room. Ya vi la regla del camerino. I expect a good, clean fight. Quiero una pelea limpia. Obey my commands at all time. Punches here are good. This is good. Punches here, this is a little high. The punches here are good. Give me a good, clean fight. Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touchable.
Gotti Ward, Pereira Morales, Corrales Castillo, Castillo Hatton.
Both men have promised not to take a backward step. Hatton has been quite specific in saying, I don't believe he can fight going backward. I am going to back him up. Already you see the possible implications of that as they get into a phone booth stance here at the beginning of the fight. And referee Joe Cortez rules a slip rather than a knockdown as Castillo comes out of a clinch and has to put his gloves on the canvas to remain upright.
I want you to hold it, okay? Let's go.
The one thing that I noticed right away is the hand speed of Ricky. It seems to be much more faster and more accurate and pinpoint compared to Castillo. But I think he's making a mistake to keep going into those clinches directly. It looked like he doesn't even have any Vaseline on his face or anything coming into the fight. His face and his body looks very dry.
And what are the implications of that, Emmanuel?
I think he didn't have enough time to get warmed up properly.
And by that, we refer to the fact that his brother, Matthew Hatton, fought on the undercard, fought in the fight preceding this one, and therefore some members of Hatton's corner, including his chief second, were involved with his brother while he was fighting. They got back to the dressing room late and had to hurry through the process of wrapping his hands and putting on his gloves.
Yes, but also I'm looking at Hatton's got faster hands, but they're going into collision. I think he should move forward and then maybe take a half a step back.
And you saw referee Joe Cortez already warning both fighters about excessive clinching.
But the hand speed of Hatton is just too much.
Castillo away from him.
But he smothered his work. That's the problem, is he throwing punches and then he smothered him as soon as he lands a punch.
It was Castillo who promised uppercuts. It's Hatton who lands 3 straight uppercuts to feature this particular exchange.
The speed of Castillo looks like an old fighter.
I think Hatton's plan is to get inside Castillo's punching power and smother. I think he's more concerned with smothering Castillo's punches than taking steam off his own.
What he said, he definitely wants to try to force Castillo to go back.
The last 5 rounds of Hatton's fight against Juan Urango in January became a clinching festival. And already we see signs that this could be a clinching festival too.
But both guys expressed that each one felt they were physically stronger than the other also.
Castillo misses with a left hook after Hatton landed his. Castillo misses with an uppercut after Hatton landed his. Hatton has certainly been the more accurate puncher in the early going. Quicker, more able to get off, more able to land inside.
He should keep the fight at more of a distance. He's getting too close because he can land the punch, especially with the short left-hand shots, and catch his guy more careful, more cleanly than he can by smothering his work.
The difference in quickness readily apparent. Castillo seemingly has to gather himself to throw his punches. Hatton gets off with a blast.
Smith, how'd you feel him? Come on, we gotta work the uppercut short. Gotta work the uppercut short. Bring it in on the inside. He's moving on you. You gotta use that uppercut. A square. Come in with the uppercut. Uppercut.
Go down a touch. You're on that jab and start setting him up. You know what I mean? Don't go like that. Just listen. Change that. Change. I don't want that again. Yeah, it's anybody's fucking fight. Everyone's going to get cut, and everyone's going to get chinned. You steady him down. Your quickest to steady him down.
There you see Ricky landing short left-hand punch here, and just physically his balance, his coordination is just so much superior than Castillo that it don't look like Castillo's going to be able to be a strong factor as the fight goes on.
But Castillo got off to an extremely slow start against Herman Gucu back in January, and then was able to crank it up in the last 6 rounds and pull out a victory which looked unlikely midway through the fight. Hatton lands a quick left hook inside. CompuBox numbers in round 1. Hatton was 20 out of 58. Castillo only 10 of 44.
Biggest concern I'd have if I was in the corner of Ricky Hatton with him getting cut, possibly because of the way the heads are colliding.
And there's already a red spot outside the right eye of Hatton, just as Castillo's nose showed signs of bleeding between rounds. Castillo's landed 2 uppercuts in this round, starting to get his offense going a little bit. Attempts a left hook to the body there. It's his #1 weapon when he can get it going in rhythm.
The biggest concern I would have in Hatton's corner is that this is no surprise. The anticipation was that Hatton would start fast. The question is, how will he finish, given how he's looked in the latter half of the last 2 fights and how Castillo has traditionally performed well down the stretch.
But it looks like the speed difference is so much that I don't think that's going to be a big factor tonight. I mean, Castillo just entirely too slow. And Ricky should keep it at a distance where he can take advantage of his faster foot speed and hand speed.
Let's go.
Now Castillo with the longer arms lands a couple jabs. Goes back to that uppercut inside. Another uppercut inside for Castillo, starting to find more of a rhythm.
Break, son.
It's fascinating. Jose Luis Castillo has an image of being almost exclusively an inside fighter, Emmanuel, but in his fights against Diego Corrales, he mastered the longer arm Corrales from outside.
Yeah, for Corrales, even though he was tall, he really had very good short, compact punches. In fact, he'd rather fight in close than to fight at a distance.
Now Hatton begins to show some of the rambunctiousness and sturdy dynamism inside that typified his big effort against Costa Zoo.
But he's making the fight not only become more closer, but also more difficult because of his leaning in instead of fighting at a distance.
Castillo has always used timing, even from long range, to offset his opponent's speed, and timing is the answer to speed. If there is an answer to speed.
Yeah, that's when he was younger. He looks like an old man to me tonight. I don't care what he's did in the past. He just doesn't like he does. His legs is gone.
And he's getting hit repeatedly with a left hook.
Yeah, but Ricky still isn't making him use his legs as much as he should.
Big left hook by Ricky Hatton. Hatton, incidentally, has the equivalent of his own marching band in the stands behind him, and they will be stimulating songs and chants in Hatton's favor throughout the night. When the crowd responds, usually it will be for Ricky's big moment. This is a Hatton crowd.
And it's a Hatton fight so far.
Coming up July 7, Vladimir Klitschko against Layman Brewster. The second time around, you'll recall that Brewster got a knockout victory under unusual circumstances against Klitschko here in Las Vegas a couple of years ago. Now Vladimir gets to reverse that, and the fight will air at 5 Eastern time and then in its entirety that same night at 10:30. 1 week later, July 14. Welterweight triple header headlined by Antonio Margarito's defense of his title against undefeated Paul Williams. Also that night, Kermit Cintron puts his portion of the title on the line against Walter Matisse. And Arturo Gatti returns to the ring, taking on Alfonso Gomez of Contender fame. Loaded welterweight division, triple header on July 14. Power punches through the second round. Hatton 38 out of 111, doubling Castillo more or less. Castillo is 18 out of